Dude, it's not even fall yet, but it's about 68 degrees out here. You're only sweating because you practiced for 2 hours. So it feels great. You look great. You sound great. Like, everything seems great around here. What's fall camp been like so far?
It's been a really fun fall camp. I think this is the most fun I've had during a fall camp in my 4 years here, and that's part of because of the offense we're in and the culture we have, but also going against one of the best defenses in America every day. It's a really fun challenge for us between the talent we have on that side of the ball and obviously the scheme, having Coach Knowles here now. It's been fun going against that defense every day and making them better and them making us better. And it's just a very competitive environment, and I think it's making us better for the long run.
I think a lot of folks like me are, sitting on the outside looking in saying, wow, they made some moves at wide receiver in the portal from the inside. Do you have kind of any heads up, any input? Hey, here's where I'd like you to try and effort more in talent acquisition. And then when they make those moves, like, what's your reaction?
Yes and no. When we have guys that we're hosting on visits, whether that be high school or transfer portal, I'm always involved whenever I can be, especially if it's offensive side of the ball. Guys, so when we were hosting visits throughout the spring and the summer, I was very involved because I knew if the more talent we added, the better roster we have, and obviously, the more weapons we have, the better offense will be. And I think we've added a lot of guys through the portal and through the high school classes that we've brought in the last couple of years that are going to help us big time on the perimeter. And I'm really excited because this is a very fun group to be with. They're all about football, love ball, they're unselfish group, and they've gotten better every day. And so have I, and our connection has only gotten stronger throughout camp, so I'm really excited to, kind of go against a different team for once.
When you got done with the last year, it sucked the way it ended. When you got done, dust settles, you get back home, you're ready to dive back in. How did you grade yourself? What were some of the action points you took away? I got to get better on this.
Yeah, I thought overall from my sophomore year to my junior year, I made a lot of strides in the areas that I wanted to improve on. But to me, one of the reasons I came back is because there was a lot of areas I wanted to improve on, and I thought I needed to improve on. And one of those being just consistent footwork. I think, I have really good footwork, but I wasn't very focused or intentional about it throughout the season last year, and there was a couple times last year where it caused me to be in unoptimal situations throwing the ball, and I would have to make up with it with my arm, and sometimes I would make it up with my arm just because I have that strong of an arm, but other times I was just making it too hard on myself, so I missed easy layups that I shouldn't be hitting. So I between my quarterback coaches and the coaches here at Penn State, I did a tremendous amount of work on just being consistent with that and intentional throughout the summer, and then honestly just letting the receivers touch the ball more. I think last year there was a couple of times where I overthrew receivers, where this year I'm doing a better job of letting them showcase themselves and make plays for me, and I think we have that type of group that is going to go up and make contested catches for me.
The physical side is what everyone pays attention to. Height, weight, completion percentage, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of what you're talking about is mental as well. It's one thing for a coach to tell you to do something.
Yeah.
How much of it do you just have to grasp on your own? At a certain point, you got to be an adult, high-level quarterback in the Big Ten and take it by the throat yourself?
Yeah, I think, to be the best quarterback you want to be, you have to be very intentional with it, and you have to have complete ownership of it. We always talk about that on the offensive side of the ball, being self-reflective and self-honesty with your performance, good or bad or indifferent. I take that to heart. I want to be my most critical judge, and sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad, and I think I've learned how to balance that. And honestly, I've always been very hard on myself because I know the type of talent I have, and I want to get every ounce out of myself that I can. And I think, just through work ethic and the coaching staff I have here, I've made tremendous strides already from last season to this season. I'm looking forward to, showcasing the things that I've been working on this offseason.
What are some of the points, probably last year in your career, where you're talking about your potential level? No one knows their potential level better than oneself. What are some of the points where it may be in a game or after a game in totality you said, that's it? That right there is what I should be every time.
Yeah, I think that really the back half of the season after the Ohio State game, I think I went on a good roll between completion percentage and just playing in a good system and playing it within myself and within the offensive system. And then honestly, the Oregon game and the Boise State game, there were some throws in there I know I can make those throws every time, and I did it throughout those games. And there's some throws in that game where I wish I would have had back and done a different read or just been more consistent. But there was a a handful of throws in that game where I'm like, this is the type of player I know I can be, and I've really taken that to heart this offseason. Being very intentional with replicating those throws and that feeling, and building that bank of feeling and memory for myself. So when I'm in those situations again, I can execute those moments.
I think, man, people watch the games. People watch clips from practice. They hear press conferences, but there's a lot of very interesting pressure around this season because, everyone knows most of the guys that return here. We've seen most of them play. You got a little infusion of portal talent, some young guys, but largely it's a known commodity. So the question becomes, how do you get certain degrees better? How do you add one more layer of paper on top of the stack? Where do you see that tangibly happening?
Yeah, I think it really starts at the top for us on the offensive side of the ball with Coach K and our mentality. We always talk about having 1% goals for each practice and being very, intentional with those and defined and very specific. And for me, that's been a big area of help for me, just defining what I want to get better at between each practices, whether it was I messed up a rep day one and correcting that day two, and just having something very specific that I wanted to work on. So when I get that rep again, I know this is what I wanted to get better at, and I'm able to go out and make those corrections. And I think they do a great job of, providing us situations to get better in that, because it's one thing talking about it and saying, I want to get better at this type of action with this type of throw, but then Coach K and the whole offensive staff do a great job of, giving me those reps, whether that be on air in 7-on-7 or in team reps. So I think, they do a great job with all of that, especially the older guys like me, K-Tron, Nick, and our receivers that we've added, just a lot of experience between us all, but being very intentional with us.
Beyond winning every game you play, for you this season, when you look in the mirror, what would you have to do to consider this year a success?
Just like you said, win every game that's on our schedule, no matter where we're playing or the opponent. And I think for me, just being the driving force of the offense. I've talked to Coach Franklin, Coach K, Danny, and Trace. I want to be the guy that's stirring the pot on the offense, essentially, and being the catalyst for us. Because, I know not every game we're going to need to throw 50 times a game to go out and win games. But, I think I have their confidence, and I know I have the confidence in myself and the receivers and the playmakers we have, that when we need to throw the ball on a 3rd and 7 and the playoffs or critical games, that we have the receivers to go win in one-on-one matchups, and I'm going to give them a chance to go make a play and come down with that. And that's the type of confidence that I'm trying to exude out of this offense, because we have the offensive line, we have the running backs, and we have the playmakers on the perimeter to do everything that we want to do. Now it's about going out and doing it.
Drew, we appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.